Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I am talking with Dr. Hang Tran. Hang is board certified in obesity medicine and family medicine. She has worked in various outpatient primary care settings at UC San Diego Health, Sutter Health, and AltaMed, a federally qualified health center in Los Angeles. She is a marathon enthusiast and a firm believer in nutrition and fitness to attain wellness and to prevent chronic medical conditions. Currently, she is finishing up her life coach certification and plans to coach female professionals on weight loss. I am so thrilled that she is here with me today, and I'm excited to talk with her. Hi, Hang.
Hi, nice to talk to you, Alice.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So I am going to jump right in and ask you, how do you define joy? Is it a thought, a feeling, an action, or all three?
You know, it has to be all three. There are times when I feel joy through a thought, a feeling, and an action. So yeah, it's all three.
All three? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And what would you say brings you the most joy? Like, when do you feel the most joy?
For me, it's just spending time with my family, my husband and my extended family, my niece and nephew, and just going on outdoor vacations. I love outdoor vacations.
Yeah. I love being outside. There's something about nature that just it just raises our vibration, right? Because nature has such a high vibration that just being in nature is like we start to resonate with that. So I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. The smell, the scent, everything about it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Nature is so amazing for us, I think. You just made me think of a little quick story here. I know we're talking about you, but talking about nature just made me remember that I had my garden and I'm a big gardener, and I would get off my night shifts, and have to come home, and I'd have to water my garden because obviously it was summer and it would be hot and all the plants would, dry out if I didn't do it in the morning before I laid down and went to sleep. So I would drag myself out there. I'm so tired, right? And go water my garden. And I kid you not, by the time I finished doing that, I felt so much better. And I was like, wait a minute, you guys are giving me energy, right?
Yeah.
They give us energy. They totally help us. So anyway, I love nature. Yes.
Yeah. You're sort of tending to your garden right now?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I guess it's a give and take, because in a garden, we're watering them, we're caring for them, we're appreciating them, so they give it back to us. But even in just, nature, when you go out to the park or national park or whatever, I mean, just that energy there, I think, is so amazing. And you're an outdoor enthusiast. I mean, you're marathons. I mean, you probably appreciate notice that.
Oh yeah, and I love like going to those you pick farms. You can probably relate to this because it's gardening, right?
Yes.
I mean, like this past summer, I got to pick blueberries, which I love blueberries.
Awesome.
Boysenberries, cherries. I didn't have to do the hard work. I just have to go and harvest them.
That's the best part, right? Yeah, I used to live by a raspberry farm, and the same thing. We would just go out there when the raspberries were there, and I don't know, it's maybe just, I'm totally making this up, but they taste better when you pick them yourself.
Oh, for sure. They're just sweeter. Yeah, they're just fresher. You can smell it. It's not, because I think when you buy from the store, they have to pick them greener and not as ripe, right? And then they just let them ripe, not on the tree. Versus when you pick, it's ripe on the tree.
Yes. So. Yeah, I think that definitely they get more, I think the sugars or something, or more or whatever, because my gosh. And I remember a time when I was growing up, before I had like a big garden, just a little backyard garden, and we planted some strawberries, and oh my God, those were the best, just to go out and pick your own. So, oh my gosh, yeah, that's magical. Oh, that's great. Okay, well, how about telling us a story about a time with your family, or when you were on vacation, or something other time when you just had a fun time?
Yeah, I think along the idea of the garden and, fruits. Our last family vacation was actually before COVID, so that was like January 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And so actually I was very, very sick during that vacation. I think it was probably COVID. I'm pretty sure it was probably before they declared the pandemic. But anyway, I was coughing for like 3 weeks, right? But I still wanted a vacation because it's hard for us to plan family vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So we rented a house actually on an avocado farm, a Haas
Oh,
avocado farm by Santa Barbara. It was amazing because my parents love, they love harvesting fruits and just seeing flowers, and my obviously my brother-in-law and sister was like, oh, this is out in the boony. Like they were kind of scared, but I'm like, but you're out in nature. Like this is a farm. Like you don't have to be in the city. And
right,
and
right.
like I think they got used to it, but the first night they were kind of scared. They're like, we're out on a farm. Like they're like, what kind of VRBO is this place? But we had a lot of fun, and we got to pick some of the avocados, and yeah, just morning walks out,
Yes,
on a farm. Yeah, that
yes,
was really fun.
yes,
So
yes. Oh, I love avocados. Oh my gosh, that's my one thing. They're like the nectar of gods. I don't know. That's great. Yeah. So not only did you get a chance to be in nature, you get a chance to enjoy. You went at the right time of year, so you could enjoy
yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
the pickings of the trees. That's great.
Vacation idea.
Yes, I know.
Just
My
pick
mind's
some sort
going.
of farm, cherry farm, blueberry farm.
That's great. I love that. I wouldn't have thought of that, actually. That's a really good suggestion. Put it on the list, right? The to-do
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
That's great. Okay. Well, how about a time in your life that brought you so much pleasure that you wish you could repeat it?
Ooh, probably a few. I would say, probably, for me, like maybe unexpected accomplishments. I was like, oh, I didn't expect I'll get that. Oh, I got that award. Cool. Like, and it's just nice, right? So that's one. I'm trying to think of it. Oh, like runner's high. That's also unexpected. The
Yes.
last runner's high I had was, geez, it was 2015. I just went on like a 4 mile run along the beach, and it's just all these just endorphins just rushing in. I'm like, oh my God, I can run fast. And I didn't feel restricted. Like I didn't feel like my joints were holding me back,
Mm,
and that was just like, it was just this, I don't know. It's very like, I haven't had that feeling since. I would like to get more runners high. Yeah. And then, I think the other thing is, my family, we grew up very tight, when I was younger. And so like when everyone living in, under the same roof, and we just having like a regular meal. Like I remember back then, like on Saturdays, we would have like, Caesar's pizza and breadsticks, on Saturday after church, and that's something I miss because we don't live together. And so,
mhm.
and now if we do anything, it takes coordination, right? It takes
Ah,
more time to bring people together. And so
yeah,
like I miss those days.
yeah, definitely. So are you still running marathons?
I am. I'm training. A lot of the in-person marathons sort of have been canceled because of COVID. And
Right.
so I just do like just long distance on my own
Mm-hmm.
usually.
Mm-hmm. So did you
Yeah.
find, you mentioned the runner's high, would you find you're more likely to have that on your shorter runs or on your longer runs, or does it matter?
That run was it was just a 4 mile run, and I've there's probably one other time was a short run. So I usually do the short run. I haven't gotten it since. Like, where's that runner's high I had back in 2015? Yeah, yeah.
So it's not,
I think I don't know. It just felt like very flowy. Like there was just so much like there was this kind of like this different energy, and where I just didn't feel like it's not that like I think I just felt like I was flowing, like free flowing, not restricted. I was just happy, It's just a very, very different feeling than what I feel like, yeah, than with other forms of workout.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because so you kind of got into the zone a little bit there. just
Yeah.
flowing with it, and like probably not even, noticing that you were really working to run.
Like I didn't feel my feet running. Like
Yeah,
it was like
right.
that. It was like, yeah, like
Could have been floating there, Hang.
I think I was floating. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's an amazing feeling. Great. Okay. Well, how about a story about a time when you were feeling maybe down and then something happened that lifted you up, whether it was change of mindset, a thought, an event?
So I guess about a year ago was when I had like a miscarriage, but it wasn't like a typical miscarriage. It was like a complete molar pregnancy. So just going through that was very difficult because like I suspected coming, but I didn't expect something where it would affect my health because I always feel like, oh, I'm young and healthy, right? So I think going through that process and getting a DNC and then waiting for pathology, like the initial path was like, oh, normal. So I was relief, right?
Mhm.
And then the final path, like, no, it's not normal. It's actually a complete molar where it puts, women at risk of choriocarcinoma. I was like, what the heck? I'm only in my mid-30s and I'm at risk of cancer. What is this? So that was really scary and frightening because I think for the first time in my life where I felt like, oh, I have to worry about my health. Like I can't think that I'm strong and invincible anymore.
Mm.
And so I think I think what helped me with the change of mindset was um I've had a lot of patients come in to see me where they've had miscarriages, and even my mom had it too. So I think through that experience, I think if anything, it made me more empathetic of women who've experienced something similar
Mhm.
versus before. Like when they tell me they have it, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. But like I don't think I fully understand until like it happened to me. And so I think that was kind of it was powerful in a sense of like, I've I knew that I'm not the only one, but I think it's kind of like now I gotta watch out, for my health, but also like now I can understand what other people go through. So
Yeah. It's that
yeah.
switching roles too. You're a doctor and now you became the patient.
Oh, that too, yeah. Well, there's that too, yeah. I was like crying. I was like, what is it? What are you telling me about my ultrasound and my initial path and my final path? So all over the place, and trying to get second opinion and just looking for answers. And yeah, I think yeah, after that, like I think even though like the final path came out that it's just complete molar and it's not like invasive, but I still have to do the monitoring of my beta HCG for like 6 months. That was like the annoying part because you have to wait until it gets normal. And then you have to do it. Well, initially it's once a week until it gets normal. And then
Mhm.
after that, once a month for 6 months. So it's just like a long process of
Right,
just like blood draws.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying what helped you through that is just kind of being able to relate to others and knowing that you're not the only one that's happened to, and having
Yeah,
shared experience. Mhm.
yeah, because initially, like I looked up on it, like it's rare. It's like one out of what 1,500 pregnancies,
Mhm.
and I was so upset. And I remember calling and texting some of my friends, and actually one of my girlfriends, she's like, "Oh yeah, I had a partial molar pregnancy," and she's like, "I thought I was the only one. I'm so glad I'm talking to you." I'm like, "Okay, we're part of the molar pregnancy club now." Yeah. So yeah, I was surprised to like know another colleague that had it too. So
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that you're not alone, you're not something weird happening to you. Or I mean, that you're the only one in the world that's experiencing it, I guess that's what you're saying, kind of helped you. That change of mindset helped you.
yeah, and then it kind of probably stopped me thinking from like the zebra and the rare. I was like, how could I get this? It's one of I wasn't blaming myself, but I was like, this is really bad odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a key word there because you said blame, and that doesn't feel good. So if we can get out of blame, changing that mindset, that to get into a better state of mind, that's going to help you feel better. So it sounds like that's maybe kind of what helped a little bit there.
yeah, and I think the other thing that helped is I sometimes I feel like you know w- other women tend to give women who've gone through miscarriage like advice and what I learned is not to give advice.
Okay.
Like, and I'm glad that I wasn't doing, because I know when when I was having patients with going through a miscarriage, like I was like, okay, I can't give advice because I haven't been through it myself. So I just listen to them, which is great. That's what you should do.
Okay.
You should not be giving a woman advice when she goes through pregnancy, right? Miscarriage. It's like, oh, you should, not be so stressed out. You should exercise and eat well. I'm like, well, I'm doing that. And I sleep well. And so I've had some people that try to give me unsolicited advice. And so, and I just remember being really annoyed with it. And so, and I'm just glad that like my approach before was right, that I didn't try to give advice. Right? Like you should not give it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we forget sometimes how powerful listening really is, and just being present with someone as they're telling their story or sharing whatever they're sharing. I mean, that's very helpful and very powerful, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I get it, because I think sometimes when people hear like a sad or tragic story, they want to help. And so they kind of, just help out like that, versus I've had some colleagues when I told them that, and they're like, oh, what can I do to help? And I thought that was so much more powerful than like, okay, you should work less. You should not work. Like just offer to help, but instead of don't tell me what to do. I thought it was just better to like just either listen or offer to help. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. Yeah, I think we forget that. So that's a great point. Yeah. And nothing better than firsthand experience to drive home the point, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, I mean, it's tough to go through what you went through, but if anything, it's probably sounds like it made you a better doctor.
Yeah, I would say so, because I can understand it more. I understand what it's like to have another problem to your to your HPI, and another thing to your past surgical history. I understand what it's like.
Right. Well, that's good. So it is looking at it is kind of changing it around. I mean, that helps with the feeling better too. Looking at it from a different point of view. Something good did come out of it, even though it was a tough thing to go through.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, how about a time when you just erupted into spontaneous laughter, like you couldn't even control it, just came up and out of you?
It would just be like things that my family members say and do, and especially with my niece and nephew. And oh my God, it's like the funniest thing. And I think it brings up like a race kind of conversation, right? So my nephew is 5, and I gave him some free weights, like the 1 pound, right? And he was exercising at the park doing his bicep curl. And I said, Winston, when are you going to be happy with your biceps? And then he said, you won't believe what he said. He said, when I have my black muscles. I'm like, what? And it's because he watches, the NBA, and he loves LeBron James. And I think what he sees is, these, more African American or Black athletes with muscles. He doesn't see Asians or other people with muscles. So for him, his gold standard is having his black muscles. And so I was like, I can't believe it.
How old is he?
5.
Oh.
So little things like that. I'm like, where did you learn that?
Where did that come from? That's funny. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think kids are really good. They don't hold back, right? They just say.
They don't. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I love it. Wow. So we talked a little bit about running and the zone and kind of the runner's high. Is there anything else that puts you in the flow state, that you just feel where things are easy and you feel productive?
Drinking coffee for me, actually. I know this is weird when people say like what puts you at ease. Like some people like they do not want to go to the library where everyone's studying, right? But to me, like if I need to get work done and I'm serious and I have an agenda, so I'll have coffee and I have an agenda. But if I really want to be productive, is to be where those productive people are studying, where it's a quiet. So it's actually going to the library.
Oh yeah, well, that
I
makes
wouldn't
sense.
say I wouldn't call it flow state in a sense that like it's a different kind of flow. It's more called productivity flow versus like, for me, I find it I think for me it's some people don't like the silence, right?
Hmm.
But I actually like it. That's where I kind of, it's easier for me to work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the type of person that I don't really study well or get things done easily if I have a lot of music going. I know some people like to study with music.
yes, yeah.
That's distracting to me.
Or coffee shop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, you're right. So I kind of agree with you. I like the
yeah,
silence, I like the quiet, and then I can focus and really on what I'm doing, and that kind of really helps me be more productive. So yeah, I can't
yeah.
put on the background music. I'll just get too
and
distracted.
usually the library, it's like the desk are usually empty, right? Versus your home desk, maybe just clutter and there's just too
Yep,
many things. For
yep,
me, it's when it's kind of tidy up, a tidy desk or with a spacious desk would be
yes.
the
Yep.
way for me to, be productive. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, and there's
Mm.
something about, I think your point about the clean, no clutter, because clutter kind of makes, I don't know, subconsciously it's confusing. And so when you're trying to focus on something, you've got a lot of clutter, I don't know, it
It's
messes.
like more noise,
Yeah,
more background noise.
yeah,
That's what it
more
is.
noise.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, the more, I think there's something to that. If you can clean it off and just a lot of space, yeah, that totally kind of helps with the productivity and the good feeling and just ready to go type thing and focus. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely spot on, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, good tips there. So how has feeling good helped you be more successful in your life?
I would say feeling good certainly gives you more time to reflect, right?
Hmm.
And understand your why and your purpose. And so I think it's like a positive energy that feeds on where um, you feel like you can contribute more at work, which helps you be more successful. This is how
Hmm.
I see it. Versus like, if you're not happy, let's say you're not happy at work and you're in a toxic environment, then you're just gonna think about avoiding it. And then if you're avoiding it, you would not be successful, right? So I think feeling good is kind of like that acceptance, that belonging, that feeling that you can contribute, and it elevates your maybe your sense of purpose,
Hmm.
and productivity.
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Do you have any daily practices, routines, or habits that you do to connect to your joy?
you know, I feel like by now I should, but I don't. The only thing that my morning is usually coffee and a multivitamin. And then I just go about, okay, what do I need to accomplish for the day? But I'm not as organized as I would like, but uh, at least on a daily basis. But my routine, I do have like the weekly routine where I would squeeze in, my weekly runs, like a few times a week. And then, make sure at least like, talk to my family, especially see my niece and nephew.
Mhm.
And um, I try to do the 5-minute journal here and there,
Mhm.
a few times a week. It's not a daily thing. It was daily, but it's a drop off. Yeah. So on a daily habits, not as good, but I would say more routine. Yeah.
Weekly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be daily, whatever. Yeah. Fits with your, I guess, routine or whatever works for you. So yeah, if weekly works or any weekly habits, I guess is,
Mhm.
that's fine too.
Yeah.
So more of the journaling, like on a weekly basis, you're saying you would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have daily routines?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I would say daily goals to be with my
Okay.
routines. And I would say most of the time, actually, I do meet them and it is journaling. So for me,
Okay.
it is, I would say mostly daily. Yeah, I do
That's good.
daily journaling. Yeah. And meditation as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Yeah.
Like
I
morning meditation.
morning for
Got it.
sure. Yeah. I absolutely um, start my day off with those two things, the
Mhm.
meditation, and I actually make time. So I make my schedule such that I have that time available for myself in the mornings, because that's
That's
when I
good.
find it the most beneficial for me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, things come up, and sometimes, you have an early meeting or early work or
Mhm.
whatever. So, there'll be those times when maybe it doesn't happen, but I'll definitely do it later in the day. But generally speaking, mornings are, I love my mornings.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Yeah, no, it's been something that I've been in the work, it's kind of habit forming, trying to, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think the best thing is once you try it and it kind of clicks. So, some people are night people and maybe the morning wouldn't work for them. So whatever it is, or some people like lunchtime as a break, whatever it is that feels the best to you.
Yeah.
When you find that, that's
Yeah.
what I think motivates you. It's not because someone told you, you should do it in the morning or whatever. It's
Yeah.
because you like it and it feels good. And I experimented for myself, when is it the best? And I don't know, that's what I came to. And so
Morning.
yeah,
Okay.
once you find that and it clicks, I think
Yeah.
that's your motivation, because it's
Yeah.
coming from you and not because you read a book that told you should do it or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you can see the effects it has. So after you've done it for a while and you just notice whatever's you feeling or you're changing in your life or whatever, and then you just get more and more motivated. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think the experience is really one of the best teachers and motivators. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, do you have any tips that you could give maybe to help others find their joy?
Yeah. So I would say, knowing your purpose and your why is important versus, just doing things for the sake of doing things. And I think once you find your purpose, whether it's to help people or to create more meanings or to create, like a business or something like that, like knowing what you want to do has, have that as your guiding compass. And then from there, I think it just falls into place. And I think another one is rewiring failures as learning opportunities, so that way you can take risk.
Yeah.
um I think for me, I've been lucky that I've been trying different things. For example, what I do that's a little different for a new grad, from out of residency, is I do some locum work, which most new graduates usually work with a W-2 permanent job. But
Right.
I took a chance on that, and because of that, like I don't have as much of a financial concern, and that it gives me other opportunities to explore, like coaching and potentially working on my energy bar business, participating in mastermind groups where I meet you, and I think it's just been very exciting for me. Like another thing that I see joy is being uncomfortable with, like instead of being complacent with where you are, but if you just put yourself in this uncomfortable zone, I think that's actually joy for me, because it's to me, it's like I'm taking in new information versus if I'm being complacent, everything is stagnant, everything's the same. I already know day to day what is going to be,
Yes.
versus when I'm doing a new venture where I'm meeting new people, that's the excitement, that's the joy. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and it brings in brings in new energy, new ideas, and it kind of expands you. I mean, sounds
Yeah.
like the more you
Yeah.
get experience different. I think the locums idea is fabulous. I mean, because you get to try out different scenarios, different situations, different hospitals, all these different. And you mentioned you did some work at the FedMed, so Federal Medical Center. So a lot of different. That's smart, I think, because and you can see what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. And then now that I'm doing consulting, so I can work from home. And so during my lunch break, I could be on this, versus during my regular lunch break in clinic, I would just be eating food, right? Or catching up on my notes. So it's the flexibility, and is great. I think it's definitely been like a good journey, to feel to do things that are kind of, I guess, untraditional, non-traditional. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is a lot of fun, to do things that are a little differently and not just do everything everything everybody else is doing. Because medical school itself and residency, it's so regimented, anyway.
Yeah.
You do this, and like all these
There's
steps.
a curriculum. You have to do these board exams,
Yep.
these rotations.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you get to kind of be a little more creative and design it how you want to. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think the part of the designing part gives you the control, which can bring joy,
Yes.
right? Versus you being told by a health system or something to do this, do that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So is there any way, if people wanted to reach out, that they could find out more about what you're doing or more about you?
Yeah. So they can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. I post on there regularly, and then I'm going to be posting my link for just discovery call for coaching with me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. So can you just maybe give them what your LinkedIn, where to find?
Oh, yes. Okay. So my LinkedIn, my full name, Hang M Tran, Hang, M like Mary, and then Tran, Tran.
Okay.
I guess I can just send it to you, right, for that, and then you could post it. I'm just trying to remember like the exact link for my Instagram, but my Instagram username is Dr. Hang M Tran.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hang Tran, I believe. Let me just, it keeps changing. I'm not sure.
Okay. That's great. That's awesome.
Oh, sorry. My Instagram username is Dr. Hang Tran. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And those are the best ways to reach out to you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I try to post, a lot of photos on my Instagram with running and food and and the outdoor spots I travel to, so that way people can get more inspiration. And
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially, I was going to tell you. So I would say the best thing that I bought in 2020 is actually a national park pass. Because I don't know how many parks I visit, probably up to 10. I probably visit 10 parks in 20, like in the 1 year annual pass I bought. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many beautiful national parks to go to, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love national parks. So that's a great suggestion. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. Anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
No, thank you so much for having me. It's so fun talking about your garden. I have to go see your garden now. I would like to see what you have.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here, Hang. It's been wonderful talking with you. I've loved having this conversation, and I'm so glad you agreed to come and chat. So thank you.
Likewise.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.